Hello, my YouTube family. Okay, so this may sound like a broken record to y'all, but I'm going to go a bit further in detail as to the method to my madness and what I'm going to do with my planting season this year. By now, I know you're seeing a lot of seed starting going on, but yet you're not seeing it coming from our homestead. There's a reason for that. For the past 4 years of being a homesteader, now going on number 5, I have always, by the end of last month, started all of my seeds. I have mentioned that in my experience, before it was ready to be put out for my last frost, some of my plants would start producing flowers. I would end up picking those flowers off, and no matter if I picked them off or not, okay, at this point, as I'm picking off flowers, I'm picking off production. Not only that, I'm stunting the growth of my plants. Besides having to transplant 4 to 5 different times, which is not healthy on the roots or the plant itself. It just continues to keep stressing it out. So this year, I'm waiting. Another method that I'm going by this year versus all of the information on YouTube that we can find. Now granted, I will tell you, there is some information. They'll teach you how to grow. They'll teach you how to use your soil amendments and all that. And this is fantastic. But what they don't go by is how to know your last frost, which I believe I explained that to you. You can find that online in your area, in your zip code. But there's another information you can definitely go by that is very informal information. For me this year, because we live in the state of Mississippi, I am going by the MSU's planting guide, Mississippi University. I am going to try that this year. Reason for that, I have tried everything else and my successions were mediocre to none. What can I do to go wrong by going by this method? In each planting zone, which we are zone 8A, going based by my last frost, there is actually more detail to that, because according to your university state planting guide, there are also districts, and my district for us would be in what they categorize as zone 3. When I look at that district, I go by the planting dates that they have. Y'all, this makes total sense to me, and I'm going to give you a prime example. Our last frost is expected this year between or about April the 1st. However, in my experience in the last 4 years, it could be that week, the week after, which is around Easter. And I told you that I use Easter as my guideline, which would make it the week before or the week after Easter. Now, let's go back to my planting guide. If I were to go ahead and start my tomato seeds right now, knowing that if I look at my planting guide for the plant, they can't necessarily go into the ground until April the 18th. I am looking again at flower producing, stunting my plant, transitioning it or transplanting it several times before I can even put it in the ground. And then there's a transition period of getting them into the ground. So my best bet to make this on time, to make this work, and the April the 18th would be after Easter, the week after Easter. That makes total sense to me. So when I look at my seeds, I'm looking at least 8 to 10 weeks. For me, I would choose 8 to 7 weeks, allowing 1 week for germination. Those take 7 to 10 days. I'm hoping this is making sense. So that would place me, if I were to go ahead and start my seeds, 8 weeks. Following 8 weeks from April the 18th, this is the time from germination to the time it goes into the ground. Now I have to give it 1 week for germination, so I would probably go 8 to 9 weeks. leaving me less chance of having to transplant so many times, giving my plants transition time to get in the ground because they have to get acclimated to the full sun instead of light from my house. They have to get acclimated to wind to strengthen their stems, and the weather temps and the changes. So this would make the perfect time at about 1 to 2 weeks right now to start planting my pepper seeds and my tomato seeds, because both of these are arranged to be planted in the ground as a plant on April the 18th. This is what I'm going by this year. Again, I'm going to show you an area. I left them alone. I left them alone so that I could see maybe there would be changes. And there has been none. We took a date back in December where I planted, y'all, from one section of a 20-foot greenhouse, and the one I'm fixing to show you, those were just 4 packs of seeds. 4 packs of seeds. Now you add that up on the loss that I took. I have been going around this mountain so many times, replenishing, rebuying my seeds, and it has been totally unnecessary because there's so much confusing information out there among the online in general, whether it be from Google, whether it be from YouTube. There's just so much confusing information, and in the end of it, it has cost me, and cost me royally. I'm making it simple. I'm keeping it simple. And one of the simplest things I can do is go by my state's planting guide. What can I lose? Let me take you to that 10-footer and show you. This is now over, just a little over a month away. And I want to show you the progress that I decided to go ahead and leave. It's just to see what would happen, because I planted cool weather crops, winter crops. I've been told that we can have food all year round. Not necessarily true, y'all. And from now on, our winter season on this homestead will be used strictly for replenishing our raised beds, leaving them unplanted for this time. And I will be happy to see the results this year from doing so. So let's take a trip to the 10-foot that I decided to leave and see what would happen. Yes, you find me with notes in my hands, and there's purposes for that, because I am learning this year, extensively learning. Another example, okay, for me, now you remember I planted this lettuce and radishes in December, but for my state, my district, my zone, this is where it comes best for me to plant. For radishes would be about the 22nd of February. Honestly, that makes sense. They're cool weather crops. These are spring. They can handle some frost. And matter of fact, with some of the cool weather plants, when they do get chilled a bit, it actually makes their leaves and their fruit or vegetables taste just slightly better. Now, does that mean that I'm not going to have to cover them? I may have to. As far as my onions, they actually could go in right about now. And I have pre-seeded and grown, and I will show you those, by the way, pre-seeded and grown my buncheon onions already, along with my bok choy. My leaf lettuce can be started about the 8th of this month. That goes with the radishes too, so I still have a few days. Y'all, this makes sense. I am doing turnip greens this year, but I need to hold off until the 22nd. I am going to be canning my turnip greens. I didn't get much of a crop when I planted these in November. They just did not work for me, and I got maybe 2 clippings and 1 we gave away, and I didn't get much to can. So I am going to go by these guides from my cool weather to my warm weather plants, and I will again show you why. Let's go take a trip to that 10-footer where I planted in December. Remember the last video update that I done? There isn't much difference. Look at the spacing, and you will see some little plants here and there. 4 packs of seeds, y'all. 4 packs. Those are still those radishes. See those roots? See those stems? It didn't go anywhere. Those same radishes over here, they didn't go anywhere. What do I have at this point? I have fertilizer. I can turn this over, fertilize this plot, and that's all I have. That's all I'm gonna have. These plants have been stunted. These plants will go nowhere, and I've wasted 4 packs of seeds that I had to reorder. Is this worth it to me? No. Is there a thing called too much information? Absolutely, yes. So take what is best advice for you. And my advice, I'm going to go back to our seating area and I will tell you my advice. Here's another one for you for winter. Now I planted parsley out here in this herb bed. Look what I just found. See how deep that hole is? All those seeds are gone. All those plants that might have come up, they're gone. Wildlife had been in here. And this is what they do. They do this every season. They get hungry. They look for grub. They look for whatever they can. Y'all, I've wasted, and I'm so over wasting. That is so pitiful. And I'm not happy about this at all. We'll go back to our seating. Okay, so my best advice for you, go by your state's University Extension Office planting guide. I live in Mississippi. Some of you who are my subscribers may be in Michigan. Some may be in Arizona. Some may be in Texas. Where I grow, where you grow, they don't equal the same. We all live in different states. We all live in different districts. And I can't tell you how to grow plants or anything like that in my state because it's not going to work for you. So I can give you the advice on what I'm growing and how to grow it, but would it do you any good? Absolutely not. Please, I encourage you to look up your state university extension planting guide. Look up your district and then go by that. I can show you soil amendments that I use for starting my seeds, and I will be doing that. Right now, they are on order. I've got my worm castings now, and I still have 2 other products I'm waiting to come in. That is absolutely things I can show you because that will go to everybody. But as far as putting it in the ground, as far as planting by seed, what I do won't work for you unless you are in where I am exactly. So I decided to go ahead and make this video because I am going to be honest with you. I want you to be able to succeed in your growing. I'm looking to succeed myself this year. I'm taking the information that best serves us, and I'm going to have to cast away the information that does not work well for us. I've had it proven, and at this point I'm just going to say is, what can I lose? I've done loss for the last 3 years. I'm not doing it this year. So you will not see me planting, except very few things. I will start planting very soon. I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to see how well this works. In the meantime, the beds that I showed you, I'm going to turn them. I'm going to take those plants completely out. I'm done with my experiment. I am going to actually use those for fertilizer, and I'm going to add a little bit of amendment to this. Not something that's harsh, something that I can use right away. That area more than likely may be our salad bed this year because I'm learning to also group in categories to make things easier for me to maintain in our raised bed areas. And hi babe. But these are going to be the upcoming videos, but this one starts it because our planting season for each and every one of us is coming right around the corner, y'all. Be patient. Be patient, and please look up your growing guides. I encourage you to do that. So until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead. I am soon to go ahead and start showing you how to make a seed starting mix. That reminds me, before I sign off, I will go ahead and show you the seeds that I have experimented with this method that I'm using. Now, that's not saying you have to. This is just a way, and again, you all have your own decisions, and I get that. I'm the same way. But I'm going to show you the two plants. Hubby is actually trying to get our wax right now from our honeybee hive that we lost, so, and we've got bees everywhere. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and show you those plants that I have started indoors, and I will explain to you what I've done and the results that I'm seeing. Absolutely amazing. This is the first time I've actually grown bok choy so beautiful. I'm proud of myself for that. Why is that? Because I'm following guides. So let's go inside and show you. Y'all, this is our bunching onions, the red and the green. They are so beautiful. They are thick in their stalks. They are, I mean, just absolutely lovely green. Bok choy. I have never seen my bok choy look with so much strength. And I actually used very simple products. I have them growing stronger than I have ever seen my bok choy before. This is amazing. This one here, it's about ready where I can start picking the outer leaves, but I'm going to wait for a bit. It's getting out of focus. There we go. I'm going to wait for a bit, but this is amazing, y'all. Absolutely amazing. What did I use? I used peat moss, vermiculite, perlite, and worm castings. That is all. Now these are in a soil mix. But again, with vermiculite, perlite, and worm castings. I have not added any other fertilizer to this mix. These are soon to be going into the ground, and they will go into the ground in the casing that they're in, into an already been rested, already waiting, fertilized raised bed, using nothing but compost mix. I am learning myself, and I'm passing on what I'm learning in hopes that it might help somebody. Maybe we can start seeing some more beautiful crops, more promising, if we were given the right information. Am I sure that the information I'm giving you is any better than already out there? I'm not sure, but all we can do is try, right? I've tried so many other things, and this year I'm trying different, and I am absolutely seeing beautiful results. So until next time, much love to each and every one of you from Parton's Heritage Homestead.